Hello everyone, I am Soumya, Department of Costume Design and Fashion, Congo Arts and Science College, Autonomous Erode. Today we are going to discuss about world costume and especially about Inuit and Aleut costumes. Inuit clothing, the warmest clothing in the world. The Inuit live in the one of the world's most extreme environment, Arctic, and their clothing has been essential to their survival. Traditional Inuit dress for both men and women is made of skins and furs and consists of watertight boots, double layered trousers, and the parka. Parka means a tight fitting double layer pull over jacket with a hood like this. In the past, sinew thread and bone needles were used to stitch the skins into warm and watertight clothing. The edge of the hood is usually finished with a fringe of fur from animals such as the wolf or wolverine. The glossy hair of the fur allow ice or snow to be easily shaken away and it helps to seal the opening around the face. The Inuit wore clothing made of caribou hides, sealskin, and the fur from the other animals like polar bear, fox, and wolf. Sealskin was strong and almost waterproof and was ideal for boots, mittens, and tighter parkas. Parkas made of sealskin were not warm enough to be worn in the winter. The Inuit depended on parkas, pants, mittens, and boots made of caribou skin for winter survival. Clothing made of caribou skin was very warm because caribou hair is hollow and act as an insulator. Dressing in the layer was necessary to stay warm. Two parkas were owned, one with the fur against the skin and the second parka with the fur on the outside. Wolf or wolfine fur was used as a trim for the hood and protected from the face from frost. Caribou skin pants and socks were also worn with the fur to the inside. Men and women costumes. Men and women generally wore similar clothing to one another. In the winter, they wore layers of boots, trousers, parkas with hoods and mittens. The number of layers that they wore depended on the weather. Winter wear. Mittens were usually made out of caribou or sealskin and were sometimes layered. Men and women both wore layered trousers to add extra protection against the cold. Clothing was tailored to fit each individual person with help keep cold air out at the neck, waist, and wrist. No goggles made from caribou antlers provided protection from the cold, but more importantly, protection from the snow blindness. Men and women both wore outer coats called parkas. Aleut clothing. The Aleut tribe were semi nomadic fishermen and hunters of the Arctic cultural group. The Aleut tribes lives in the Aleutian Island and the western portion of the Alaska Peninsula of the northwestern North America. Their name is derived from the Aleut word Al meaning coastal people. Aleut people lived in semi-substantial sod covered, covered arched roof structure called barbaras. A barbaras was an oblong shaped semi soap covered structure similar to the pit house built by Native American Indians. The inside of the Barbara house consists of one large room with a central communal area and a hearth for cooking. Around the sides of the Barbara were portionated sections providing some privacy and used for storage. The screens were created by grass mat dividers. Clothing. The Aleut people live in the one of the hottest part of the world. The woman made waterproof garments from the insects of sea mammals. They were called kamilikas and used by men going to sea and also used as ceremonial garment. Both men and women wore parkas, kamilikas to provide adequate protection. The women's parkas were made of skin of seal or sea otter skin, and the men wore bird skin parkas that had the feathers inside and outside depending on the weather. When the men were hunting on the water, they wore waterproof hooded parkas made from seal or sea lion guts. One parka took a year to make and would be lost 2 years with proper care. All parkas were decorated with the bird feathers, bear bristles of seal and sea lions, breaks of sea portion, bird claws, sea outer fur, dyed leather, and caribou hair sewn in the seams. Colored thread made of sinew of the different animals and fish guts were also used for decoration. The threads were dyed different colors using vermilion paint, the ink bag of the octopus, and the root of the grasses. Piercing and tattooing were very common among the Aleut people, especially among women. Piercings such as nosepin were common among both for men and women, and were usually performed a few days after birth. Piercing ear was also very common. The Aleut pierced holes around the rim of their ears. The Aleut wore parkas, long straight shirt of plain cut. Parkas were sewn of sea animals' skins or bird skins. Fur parkas are worn for inside in the weather was bad, and the parkas from bird skins were worn weather was outside, feather or outside. The rain trickled down the feathers, and the man remained dry. When going out in the sea, the Aleut were waterproof overall made of sea animal guts over their parkas. The lap, the sleeves, and the hood of overall were pulled tight with cord. When going out in the sea, an Aleut hunter wore a prominent wooden beak. It protected eyes from sea splashes and sun highlights on water. All these headdress were covered with painted patterns and decorated with beads, feathers, ivory figures, and aerial she whiskers. Decoration had magical meaning and were supposed to bring luck to the hunters. The making of such headdress took several months and it was very expensive. The price of the one hat equal to the price of two or three slaves. Wooden headdress were usually the sign of the hunter's social status. Conical hat of closed type could only worn by chiefs, while common people wore peaks with the open top part. The Aleut tribe used a small, narrow boat called Paiderka or kayak for transportation and fishing trips. The kayak was lightweight, highly maneuvered, and made using a wooden driftwood or whalebone frame covered with seal skin or sea lion skin shoe with sinew. The Aleut developed skin of Writing a capitalized kayak with or without the use of paddle. Paddle means a kayak roll. Thank you.